pictures and just think about what you see. How do they change over time? What's different in each one? Now, you're probably noticing there's a big difference in the amount of vegetation. How the grass looks bigger, there's more bushes, it looks greener, it looks healthier as a whole. Now, I want you all to think about what caused this. What do you think caused this? I'll take a few hands on ideas.
Rain.
No. Huh? No, none of those. Wolves caused it. Not rainfall, not temperature, not anything related to climate.
Grazing.
Hmm?
Grazing. Like animals grazing on it?
Well, that caused it to go down, but what caused it to go back up was wolves.
Wolves.
They came back in. As a biology major, topics like these are of the utmost interest to me, as I hope to study stuff like this in the field as a career one day. While many people think that wolves are nothing but dangerous, evil creatures that do nothing but harm the landscape, they actually benefit in a large way. I'll be telling you about wolves and their ecological impact. Close your eyes and keep them closed until I tell you otherwise. Imagine you're laying down in the meadow. You hear a river gurgling to your right, birds chirping overhead, and insects buzzing around. But it's never landing on you, but you don't care because of what you're looking at through a spotting scope. Open your eyes. You're looking at this. Wolf pups playing in the grass. Well, you can't see the picture, but a babysitter wolf is actually watching them as the rest of the pack hunts. A few years ago, I was doing just that in Yellowstone National Park. I was laying in the grass, watching wolves through a scope. And as you can see, wolves are really social creatures. They live in highly organized packs. And at the top of the pack is the alpha pair. They make all the decisions. They lead the pack. And beneath them is the beta wolves. And they are second in command. They enforce those decisions while also following them themselves. Finally, beneath them is the lower wolves. They do anything from patrol the territory, to hunt, to watch the pups. Now, as well as being really complex creatures, they're really compassionate, as shown by Nate Blakesley's book, American Wolf. In this book, two packs clash, and the alpha female of one of the packs dies on top of a ridge next to a tree. This alpha male, her mate, is also injured, but he's able to live on a bit longer. However, eventually he begins to succumb to his injuries as well. Rather than dying where he was, he makes the trek up to the top of the ridge next to the tree, the exact spot where his mate had died. And that shows compassion. As well as being really, really complex creatures, they play an enormous role in ecosystems. Wolves are a keystone species. And this means, as stated by D.H. Chadwick in his 2011 article for Mother Earth News, that they initiate a trophic cascade. What this means is that they affect basically every other animal in that ecosystem. As they hunt, the elk are forced to leave areas where plants were growing, and as they hunt, they leave leftovers that animals can eat. So basically they help every other creature in that area. As stated by William Ripple in his 2003 study on wolf reintroduction in Yellowstone Park, he states the wolves influence the distribution and behavior of herbivores, which basically means that as they hunt elk are forced to leave and move around more, which allows plants to regrow. Now, I'll be discussing how wolves impacted Yellowstone Park. Wolves were wiped out of the park in 1926, and because of this, the ecosystem struggled. As stated by A.P. Hermans in a 2014 article for Ecological Restoration, this lack of wolves resulted in elk being able to do whatever they want. What they do is they just sit in one area and they eat everything there. And they wouldn't be forced to move because there were no wolves to chase them away. So they just do this from one area to the next, eating everything and reducing it to barren landscape. As shown by this picture. As you can see in the picture, there's not a whole lot of bushes. There's no new growth of trees. Elk are everywhere, and there's nothing to stop them from eating anything they see. And then the wolves came back. Wolves were reintroduced to Yellowstone in 1995, and they transformed this landscape back to its former glory. What had once been barren became lush over the course of the next few years. As stated by Andy Dobson in 2014 for BLOS Biology, elk began avoiding areas they had previously ravaged because wolves were there, and as they hunted the elk were forced to move around, and they couldn't sit in one spot and eat everything there. And this recovery of vegetation allowed other animals to thrive as well, like beavers, which eat trees, and bison, which eat the grass as well. And as the wolves hunted, they left leftovers that scavengers, like bears and eagles and other animals like that, could eat as well. So as wolves came back, the entire ecosystem benefited as a whole. Shown nicely by this comparison. As you can see on the right, Yellowstone after the wolves introduced the wolves there. And as they hunted, you can see a carcass beneath them. Scavengers like the bears ate as well. But as wolves hunted, the elk were forced to move around. They couldn't sit in one spot and eat everything, which allowed this growth of aspen trees in the back. New growths were able to sprout up. As you can see, there's also a lot of bushes and grasses. It just looks healthier. And scavengers like bears, eagles, and ravens also benefited because they could eat what the wolves left behind. And yeah, most of the animals like fish, frogs, turtles, anything you can think of pretty much was able to benefit because they ate what the wolves left behind and what the wolves benefited. This graph further illustrates my point. As you can see, as the population of wolves increased, so did the population of plants like cottonwood trees in the top right corner, aspen trees in the bottom left corner, and willows in the middle on the right side. And as plants increased, so did the population of animals like bison and beavers, which eat the plants. At the same time, elk decreased because the wolves were hunting them. Today, the Yellowstone ecosystem is one of the most complete and flourishing places in North America, all thanks to wolves. The creatures that were once regarded as the most evil of all land mammals making a comeback because of the realization that they really aren't that bad. In fact, they're really beneficial, which is part of the reason that wolves once again call California home. In Northern California and Lassen and Plymouth counties, there is one pack, the first permanent pack in California in a long time. Will they prove just as beneficial to this area as they did in Yellowstone? Judging by how they transformed that ecosystem, there's certainly hope.